Welcome. Here at PPC, our theme this church year is Connecting Through Jesus Christ. And today we're visiting with our Director of Music Ministry, Jerome, hearing about his life journey of faith and music ministry. Welcome, Jerome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Jerome, tell us a little bit about what events or influences in your life set you on the path to becoming a church musician.
Yeah, so I started playing piano from a young age, from the age of 3, and I actually was self-taught until college. And growing up in church, there were many opportunities for me to play and direct choirs. And often in the Black church tradition, it is very much encouraged, if not mandatory, to help facilitate leading worship. And so by doing that, that sort of kind of set things in motion for me to do it continually throughout my life.
So your dad was a Baptist pastor.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like for you growing up in the congregation where you were as a young person?
Yeah, my father decided to be a pastor during my teenage years. And so that growth process that he went through by going through seminary and doing more studying, we got to see that in real time. And I often had the opportunity to have great theological conversations with him. And then from a church standpoint, seeing my father lead the worship services, that was a good example for how things were run. But at the same time, our church was very much being led by the Spirit and go with the flow. And so I learned how to stay on my feet, but also how to let God organically come into that space.
So tell us a little bit about your journey from your home congregation to Houghton University, then to Eastman, and here to PPC.
Yeah, so originally I actually did not want to go to Houghton University. Kind of growing up in the church and being a pastor's kid, I wasn't interested in attending a Christian school. But through some circumstances and the Lord's leading, I was led to Houghton University, and I absolutely do not regret it at all. It was a time for growth for me as a person, growth for me as a musician, and growth for me in my faith. After I graduated from Houghton, I was led here to Rochester to work at North Star Christian Academy, where I was able to continue my ministry through that work. And then eventually I felt called to work toward a PhD in music theory. I applied to Eastman and eventually got in. And I'm very grateful to be able to study the music that I love through that. And also during that time, I was led to apply here at PPC. The Lord was kind of leading me to a different change. And I was very much excited about what was happening here at PPC and how PPC appreciates music in different ways.
Well, we are so glad God brought you here to us at PPC. Jerome, your specialty, as you shared a moment ago, is in gospel music, as you're working towards your PhD. Tell us a little bit about how gospel music is distinct from other forms of church music and what you love about it.
Yeah, so one of the things I would say first is that gospel music is a continual act of worship. It continues on even after the song ends. Sometimes if we think of, older hymns, if it's 4 verses and we're on verse 3, we know that hymn is ending soon. But with gospel music, there's sort of an implication that the song continues in our heart even after the music ends from a physical standpoint. One of the greatest composers and artists of gospel music is Kirk Franklin, and in one of his songs, he mentions and he writes that, when a song is over and we all have said amen, our heart still keeps on singing and the song will never end. And I think that's very much emblematic of gospel music and what it means to worship God through that way. The second thing I would say is that gospel music is very expressive and filled with a lot of hope. And through our lives, we go through different, valleys and dark times, and gospel music can be there to, one, point us back to God, to point us back to Jesus, and 2, uplift our spirits. And then finally, and this pertains to my specific research interests in my PhD work, is that gospel music, through its melodies and its harmonies, works together in a way that really complements the text and the lyrics of the song. And so whether through text painting or sharing ideas about theology, I'm very much interested in how the musical elements intertwine with the theological and spiritual elements.
We would love to hear some gospel music. Jerome, would you play something for us?
Yes, I would be happy to.